Programming on 90.7 WKGC and the Commodore Sports Network is sponsored by Sweet Bay. Sweet Bay is a bayfront village in Panama City that features parks, walking trails to the water, a future town center, and more. A community connected at the water's edge, Sweet Bay. More information about Sweet Bay online at sweetbayfl.com or 844-35-SWEET.
This is Coach's Corner.
Welcome, Commodore fans, to Coach's Corner, a production of Gulf Coast State College and the digital media program here. We appreciate the folks over at Sweet Bay underwriting Coach's Corner. Lady Commodores and Coach Scovel and I will talk about big games last week and big games this week. So, Lady Commodores 21-4 overall. 8-4 in the Panhandle Conference, which makes us the Panhandle Conference runners-up, state qualified. Ranked number 2 in the state coaches poll, and ranked number 6 in the NJCAA poll from last week. And that poll will come out, I'll assume, sometime today, and then we'll look and see where Lady Commodores end up there. So, but Lady Commodores had a tall order last week, had to go to Chipola and play, and that was a game that had a lot of impact because lose that game, Chipola stays in the mix. Winning that game took Chipola out of the mix and took the pressure off the Lady Commodores. And Lady Commodores won 71-50 in a much closer game than the final score kind of indicates.
Absolutely. That all kind of happened in just a couple minutes of play out of that whole game. I mean, we got down 15 in the first half and got back within 7, I think, before the halftime. So we crawled back a little bit before the half and came back out in the third quarter and kind of executed a little bit better on offense and defense too. What we had said we were going to try to do defensively, we really didn't do it in the first half. And in the second half, we came out and executed better. And then we just had a little run. And then late in that game, we really had a run that we went from 7 up or 5 up to 18 up in just a short period of time. So it was a crazy game to be down 15 and then win by 21. It's just kind of crazy.
And so, you scored 48 points in the second half.
Yep.
That's just an amazing half of basketball.
Yeah, shot the ball well, executed. To go over there and knowing that our backs were kind of against the wall, it wasn't completely over. We would have still had one more game to win for a play-in, but our backs were against the wall, and for us to come out there and play like we did in that second half and get a road victory to get into the state tournament, that was pretty special.
And so, and having to play and do that at Chipola, that's a tough place to go. And Chipola knew what was on the line for them, too.
Absolutely.
They either win or they were done. So if we look at the game, scoring-wise, Smith with 19, and they're doubling down, holding, bumping. She's having to fight, play through stuff, and still staying close to her 20-point-a-game average.
Yeah, she's learned to handle that a little bit better than she did early in the season. So probably good that it happened early on to prepare for Panhandle play. But she's handled the physicality pretty well. And like you say, she scored 19 points with all that. But it was a great team victory. Everybody kind of played their role. We went with a little bit different lineup with Fatu, with our defensive abilities, and our trapping defense seemed to be quite the difference in that game. So, Alana again had her game, but Naomi has really been the one that's really kind of come on strong here the last round of play, and really defending, using her length defensively, and then shooting the ball extremely well, especially from long-range balls. So, it's just been great team wins here, and if we can continue to play like that as a team, then we're going to be able to go to the state tournament and hopefully compete.
And if we look at that, like you said, Bondu with 15, and Greg's giving you great minutes too. She had 15 points too, so both of them was a huge impact in that game.
Absolutely. They're all three kind of Power 5 players at the next level, and they're performing offensively. They've got good basketball IQ, and Deja gives us some versatility because she can play the perimeter offensively, or she can play inside, and defensively she can do both. So, getting her in the mix after the semester definitely is very needed as we move into postseason play.
And Farsi seems to be getting a little better, had 12 points for the game. Seems to be getting a little better.
Handling the ball better, playing with more confidence, defending, executing, running the show a little better, communicating a little bit better. Last year about this time, maybe this is her time, because at this time last year she was the MVP of the region tournament. So I surely hope that history repeats itself here next week. And
so in this case, we talked about the defensive pressure Lady Commodores applied. Turn She pulled over 24 times in that game.
Yeah, at their house 24 times, and to hold them, to 50 points at their house, that was a tremendous defensive effort.
So played good there. Shooting from the free throw line, 72.7, 8 of 11. From behind the three-point arc, 38.9 for 7 of 18. And 28 of 61 from the floor for 45.9% free throw.
That's great percentages, especially with what was on the line and the pressure. Hopefully that's the attitude we're going to have the rest of the way. Is when the going gets tough, the tough get going. So we certainly did in that particular game.
And in that case, and we have to bring up the point that Chipola's defense, they can apply the pressure too, and to shoot that well against that amount of pressure.
Absolutely.
Is a good thing. So, and then Saturday night we finished out the regular season here against Tallahassee Community College, 178-55 in a good game where several Lady Commodores played well that night also.
Yeah, same thing. First quarter was close, 2-point game. Tallahassee has tremendous shooters and they have good guard play, so solid, and they were down to 6 players. We know how that feels. We got down to 7 a couple of games, but they shoot the ball so well. Their technique, I love to watch them shoot, not so much in the game, but in warm-up for sure. But we just played well after that first quarter. We had good shots in the first quarter, just wouldn't fall. In the second quarter, we hit shots. We played good defense. We got in transition. We kind of spread the floor and opened it up to where we had some versatility of offensive threats with Deja and Naomi and Alana and Leah in the running game. So that second quarter, we kind of opened things up, and I felt like it was kind of over after that.
Yeah, because it was 14-16 at the end of the first, and then it was 26-14 we scored in the second quarter there. And then 18-16 and 18-11.
Right.
And so moved from there. And if we look at scoring, Bondu led all scoring with 22 points.
Right.
So, and like you said, she's getting better and better and better every game right now.
Well, she is. It's just been consistent, So if she can do that, as we move in and play Florida Southwestern in the state tournament, it's going to be crucial that Naomi produces for us offensively and plays great defense.
And then if you look, Smith with 18 points, and then Jones with 13 points, and Greg with 13 points.
Yeah, Jones back to the double-double. We had that before she got hurt. She was averaging double-doubles. And losing Tot really hurt us on the boards. We started getting beat on the boards a lot, and so it looks like she's getting healthier with every game. So we can just buy a little more time and get Tot back to those double-doubles consistently. And everybody can do their job and play their role, then maybe we can make a little run. And
so in that case, pretty good time. Lady Commodores only turned the ball over 9 times.
Yeah, we've handled it well. Leah's just done a great job at the point, and everybody else has handled. We've handled pressure pretty well, and we've just got to continue to play like this, and maybe we can get some momentum. We've just been through some crazy things throughout the season with sickness and injuries, and so hopefully, now's the time. If you're going to pick a time to do it, this would be a great time to get some momentum.
So make a run now. Lady Commodores only dress 9, and that's all you will be able to dress the rest of the season, correct?
Yeah, I guess that's the Laurel Hill days, because you had about 7 players, and probably 3 of those were 7th graders. So that's probably about our comfort zone is not so many players, but they got to give minutes. Everybody's got to be on board. Everybody's got to buy in. Everybody's got to play their role, whether it's minute maker or offensive producer or defensive stopper. We're going to have to buy into our role and play well here the rest of the way.
So, and we get to play Florida Southwestern right off the bat, ranked number 4 in the state coaches poll, ranked number 9 in the NJCA national poll. Now, the Lady Commodores have played them twice, pre-conference already, won both times, had to win in overtime at their place. 97-89,
right.
So had an overtime win there, but one of the things we will not have when we play them again is a Grant that scored 30 points in that game.
Yeah, we're not having Nadia come back and losing Layla, I don't think people realize, but as we all say, we've had these injuries and you can't cry over spilled milk, but that's huge to us because Nadia probably would have been our defensive stopper.
Sure.
And then Layla was, our most efficient 3-point shooter. So that's huge. The one thing we do have different that we didn't have the first 2 is Deja. So I guess if you're trading out a little bit, then Deja gives us a little bit. She's a little bit of Nadia and Layla put together, but unfortunately it's only one body. So she's going to have to play like 2 people in one body. So hopefully, adding Deja to the mix will will give us that loss of those two players.
So, and then Smith in that game scored 39 points for you. Nobody really knew who she was back then.
Yeah, they know who she is now, but hopefully, you know, Naomi, when you have that versatility, then you can't double down, you can't triple down. So hopefully we're all kind of coming on board now. So if they want to, you know, double down on Alana, hopefully somebody else can step up to the plate.
And now for them, big players for them, Downs had 32 points for them. So
yeah, they've got a nice team. You know, they won their conference down there. They did lose to Eastern Florida this last Saturday. But they've got a great team, and I think they had an addition this semester. So, you know, it's just going to be a great game. We've got to go over there and play as well as we can and try to win that game. We're still trying to fight for, you know, postseason play at Lubbock. And, you know, no matter what happens, hopefully we can put in our application, as we want to say, for at-large bid if we don't win and see if we have a good enough resume to get there. But it sure does help if you just go take care of business yourself and not worry about wondering if somebody's going to think you're good enough to get in as an at-large. So the best thing, like I told the girls, is just go win and take care of it yourself.
Win. So now, Florida Southwestern came to the Billy Harrison Fieldhouse and played and won 64-62 here in a close game. So we played them twice. You kind of know what to expect there, Coach.
Oh, absolutely. They get off to great starts. We were down 20-something points in that game and had to come back to win it. So, yeah, they're very talented, very well coached. Christy does a great job with them. Their coaching staff is outstanding, and they've got size, they've got speed, they've got shooters. They're pretty versatile. So it's going to be to be a first-round matchup. It's going to be a good one.
So it'll be a matchup, and we will play at Northwest Florida this year. For the next 3 years, that's where the tournament will be at.
Yep.
What's your thoughts on that?
Well, you know, we've had 2 games there. So as we, you know, when you're in the middle of conference, you're like, oh my gosh, we've got to go there twice for this season. But at the end of the day, that going there twice gives us a little bit up. I think Florida Southwestern has played there, so we know the venue. We're very well aware of what's going to go on, the surroundings, the atmosphere, the baskets. I think it's great that we get to travel, and most of all, our fans are so important to us. So hopefully, even though we're the 3 o'clock game, hopefully we can get some fan base, to the state tournament and help us be our 6th man.
So in this case, Lady Commodores will play Thursday week at 3 o'clock.
Yes.
So we play the second game. There'll be a 1 o'clock game, a 3 o'clock game, and then an intermission, and then 2 games after that.
Yes.
But Lady Commodores will play at 3.
Yes.
And there, and we've been there, done that. Like you said, Florida Southwestern dropped to a game to Eastern Florida State, but Eastern Florida State's very good too.
No, they're very good. You know, we only beat them maybe 3 points, I think, in a classic at South Georgia Tech in the Americas. So the Region 8 is strong. We keep bragging about that. We used to just say, oh, Panhandle, 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 but I think we're going to have to change that wording to Region 8, which has been strong. The gap is closing. If the Panhandle's been strong all these years, the gap has definitely closed some and shortened that gap. So we'll see. They're both very, very good teams, Florida Southwestern and Eastern, coming out of that conference. So it's going to be a great state tournament. Thankful that it's at Northwest, and hopefully we can advance after the first game.
Don't have to travel to Ocala and
don't have to go very far.
So spend the night and all that, and buses and all that stuff and all those pieces that we have to deal with. So.
It'll be nice to be able to come home and get in our own bed and save some money. It won't cost near as much to go to Northwest as it does to go on the road like to Ocala or wherever. But we're excited for especially that both teams. We're the only conference school that's got both teams in. So I think that's exciting for Gulf Coast.
So and like you said, the men will play Wednesday at 3 o'clock against Florida Southwestern.
Right. They're darn good too.
which is ranked number 1 in the country at this time.
Yeah.
So 2 great games. So congratulations.
Thanks.
Your 6th state tournament appearance since you've been back in 21, 22?
Yes, it's been a lot of years, and I was kind of, sometimes while you're trying to win the next game, you don't ever reflect back. But lately, I guess I've been reflecting back some of the accomplishments of the Lady Commodore Basketball program, and we've had a team for 25 or 26 years total. Man, we've been to the state tournament. I have to go back and look at the numbers, but it's over 20. So the success and playing for the region championship, and and going to the national tournament and winning it. So there's a lot to reflect upon, and probably in the next few weeks there'll be a lot of reflections.
So for Coach Rooney Scovel, I'm Jamie Spaxley. We'll be right back in a few minutes with Coach Jackson and talk about the Commodores and their postseason play on the Commodore Sports Network.
Programming on 90.7 WKGC and the Commodore Sports Network is sponsored by Sweet Bay. Sweet Bay is a bayfront village in Panama City that features parks, walking trails to the water, a future town center, and more. A community connected at the water's edge, Sweet Bay. More information about Sweet Bay online at sweetbayfl.com or 844-35-SWEET.
Welcome back, Commodore fans. Coach Jackson and I will talk about the Commodores and how well they did in qualifying for a state tournament bid. Commodores right now, 21-7 overall, 8-4 in the Panhandle Conference. Panhandle Conference runners-up, so state Commodores for the first time in 11 years, state tournament bound. Ranked number 5 in the state coaches poll. Last week's NJCAA poll, the Commodores were receiving votes. Hopefully, when it comes out the next day or so, that the Commodores will break in that top 25, because being in that top 25 can come into play if you're trying to get one of those at-large bids, because you need that resume, and they're going to pull for those teams that are ranked. Commodores have been in the national rankings in and out this season thus far, but it would be nice to finish with that final poll. Commodores ranked somewhere in there. So, yes. But let's talk about what the Commodores did this past week. Had to go up to Chipola. Defeated Chipola twice already this year. So with a chance to go to Chipola and sweep them, which is almost unheard of. It's almost unheard of to beat them in their building anyway. Sophomore night for the Chipola, sophomore players there. So lots of fans, big emotional game. Chipola state tournament was already out. They were not going to advance, playing for pride at that point. But the Commodores had a lot on line there, you know. Trying to get in, trying not to get in, trying not to have a possible playoff game with Pensacola, which we have a hard time matching up with. So, but with all that pressure in there, Commodores come up short, 101-95. Got down by a bunch, battled back, and at the end, we had a shot at it.
Yes,
come
we
up
did.
Short.
Absolutely. And it's one of those cliches, but it's hard to beat somebody 3 times, especially in conference. And it was their sophomore night; they were ready to play. We got after them. I thought our defense was a little short, but overall we were pretty good. So I wasn't really disappointed with them, but they played a good game.
And so so. In this case, we battled. Now, on the other hand, Holden and Owen scored 21 for you that night. Big nights for them.
Cam has been fantastic all conference, all season. Jacoby Owens has really picked it up over the past, probably 6-7 games, scoring, taking a leadership role, and he's been fantastic.
So, and Devontae Cook, being a freshman, scored 19 points, gotten better and better and better, and way more confident at running that point.
Yes, absolutely. And that comes with, reps and games and stuff like that. But he's been fantastic, taking on that role, not afraid of anybody. So I'm just very proud of him.
And so battling there. Gordon, also sophomore, 12 points. Not the hero of this game, but going to be in just a few minutes for the next one. So he played well also.
Yes, he did. And he's going up against guys that are, way bigger than him, but it's that mentality of, he's not afraid of anybody. They grind, and that's his game.
And so we look at that. Now, Commodores, we turned the ball over 10 times. Y'all turned Chipola over 20 in that game.
So we are our season has been one to where we don't turn the ball over very much, and we make the other team turn it over. That's just our style. So for us to continue that, that's exactly what we want to do.
And so, and that's where that nickname Coastal Chaos comes from?
Yes, it is.
On the defensive side of the ball?
Yes, absolutely. All about our pressing style, running, that kind of stuff, and then, getting those teams to turn the ball over.
So, and that almost helped us get back into it. Commodores did one thing better at night than most nights, and that was shoot free throws. 78.9%, 30 of 38. If Commodores could have shot free throws like that, our record would be a little better.
Oh, absolutely. There's been some games that's really cost us, but that night was fantastic. It was good to see our guys have a good shooting night.
So behind three-point arc, 9 of 36, 25%, 28 of 79 from the floor for 35.4. On the other side of the ball, Chipola shoots in there all the time. Now, they were 24 of 41 for 58.5% from the free throw line. That's kind of a little amazing. But on the other hand, 7 of 18 for 38.9 behind the arc, and 35 of 58, 60.3 from the floor. So they shot well everywhere else.
They did, and those guys, they're 6'10", 6'11", that are shooting 2-footers. That's going to be a high percentage, and I thought that was kind of our defensive, defensive letdown for that game.
So now on the other hand, Mating for them, 31 points. A big player, plays outside behind the three-point arc and can drain the threes almost at will.
Yeah, and we've done a good job on him the previous 2 games, but he came out, was ready to play, and he kind of put it to us a little bit there.
Now, with losing that game, we had Tallahassee Panhandle Conference champs. Thus far, we won one, they'd won one. They were state tournament bound no matter what. In this case, the Commodores either have to win there. If they lose and Pensacola wins, we'd be playing tonight in a playoff game. And we don't match up well against Pensacola. And Pensacola did win.
Yes.
And I bet they were disappointed because they played their game. We were done by the time they played their game.
That's right.
So at that stage, they realized they were playing for pride at that time.
Yes.
And they went on and defeated Northwest. Northwest now 0-12, so we probably wasn't thinking that Northwest was going to jump up and beat Pensacola at Pensacola. So
right.
And they didn't. So, but what a game. So this is and what a finish. In here. 108-107 sounds like an NBA score more so than a college score.
Yes, it does.
So
yes, it does.
Triple overtime, and if we look at this thing at halftime, 36-33. So Commodores are right there. Got down by a bunch in that second half.
Yes.
15-18.
Yep.
And final score, we outscored them 47-44. Tie game.
Yeah.
And then first overtime we both scored 10 apiece.
Mm-hmm.
Second overtime we both scored 4 apiece.
4 apiece.
And then in the third overtime we scored 14. They scored 13. I think we have a highlight reel here, and we'll look at a shot. 1.7 seconds left in regulation, and Commodores draw up a play. And we'll roll it from here. Right now, everybody's looking. I think your first and second options got taken away. Maurice Gordon, ball savvy, grabs the shot, puts it up, boom, wins the game, hits the three-pointer. 1.7 seconds, and you can see crowd goes wild.
Yeah.
I was afraid somebody was going to get hurt in that congratulations pile because eventually everybody ended up on the floor. And see, there they go. And you worry about the man on the bottom.
Right, right.
But a huge night there. Shot for that. Gordon's IQ, smart enough, okay, I need to go. At that stage, it was a broken play. He got it, took his 2 dribbles, put the shot up. And
yes, he did.
We can't say it was nothing but net because it hit the backboard with some force, and it went through the net with some force.
Yes, it did.
And then I think it took everybody a little bit to realize, oh, that went in.
Yeah, just what happened just then.
So what'd you think then, Coach?
Well, the one thing we had to do was we had drawn it up in practice a couple times, not daily. Just trying to get somebody to circle, catch the ball, make the shot. And just like you said, our first 2 options there were taken away, and Maurice was smart enough to step up, and he actually had space, which is the only thing you're really trying to get is some space where he can get a couple of dribbles and shoot it. Just a fantastic play by him, fantastic pass by Cam Holden, and
so
it was meant to be.
So and Gordon, the hero. Now you say he's the hero. You had to score a lot of other points for that to be the case, because at that stage we had scored 105 points.
Right.
But
Right.
to take that shot, but if we go back and look at scoring, you got Cam Holden with 24. That's an average night for him.
Yes.
A lot of players will be going, oh, that's a great night, but Holden's going to do that every night. But you got Gordon now with 22.
Yes.
And 3 in that third overtime that were huge.
Oh, absolutely.
So, and then Jacoby Owens, 21 points, another good night for him. And Pierre Louis, 21 points. He hit some big threes for us in those corners.
Yeah, and he's a shooter. And so what happens is when you get a guy like that, especially when he catches on fire, then you let him go. And, he was, ultimately keeping us in the game when they were going zone. He was hitting shots, and it made him start thinking, well, we got to do something else and all that kind of stuff. So his play was critical.
And he was 7 of 9 from behind the arc.
Yes.
So he was really deadly behind that.
Yes, he was.
And that helped them sometimes get out of that 1-3-1, which we have struggled against before.
Right.
And so he had that. We got to go back and I missed the point on Gordon. Had 22 points. We had 10 rebounds. He had a double-double.
Yes, he did. He played fantastic over the whole game. I know the score is 108-107, but I thought our defense was way better, especially in regular, the regular time period.
And so in this case, it has us down that we only turned the ball over 3 times.
3 times.
In that game. So
yes.
Outstanding there. Some reason or other stats for the official stats for Tallahassee were not in this morning when I printed this. Couldn't look at it. Horrible night from the free throw line, though. Normally, this stat doesn't. Whoever shoots best from the free throw line normally wins a really close game.
Yes.
But in this case, 9 of 19, 47.4%.
Yep.
Regulation and all those overtimes, if we could have hit free throws.
Probably wouldn't have had any of those hero moments.
And then Gordon couldn't hit the big shot.
Right.
So, now, with that happening, we now are going to play for the first time, like we talked about, in 11 years. Going to go on March 4th. We play Wednesday. Mm-hmm. We play at 3 o'clock at Northwest Florida State College, which is where the tournament is this year and for the next 2 years after this, against Florida Southwestern. Ranked number 1 in the country, ranked number 1 in the state. We played them in a scrimmage game preseason.
Yes.
And won.
Yes.
But on the other hand, they're probably much better, just like we're probably much better than we were back then.
Yeah, and it's a measuring stick to a certain point, but it is preseason stuff, and you can't put a lot into it. It just means that our guys have seen some of their stuff and some of the players.
So. Now in this case, it's a considerable, almost a week and a half layoff now.
Yes.
So what do we do? You practice hard, you don't practice hard. There's a lot of things that you have to be real careful now figuring out how you map out.
Yes, it's a gray area. I think you have to have a plan for what you want to do over the next week or so. But when do you give the guys off? When do you practice real hard? Do you just go through some things? So we're actually going to talk with Coach Gaffney this afternoon and try to map all that out.
And so Coach Gaffney getting better and better every day?
Every day. I called him and on Saturday, of course, after the game, and he was extremely happy, and you can hear him in his voice that he's getting better.
So that's good to hear, and so we're all praying for a speedy recovery there.
Yes.
Love to have him back, and it would be nice for him to coach another game this season, because that means we're at Hutch for him to do that.
Yes, and that, of course, is another goal of ours. The guys know that. They want to play for him. They want to make sure he can get back to the sideline this season. So we have that focus going on. We have us, getting after the number 1 team in the country, and we play good in that role. So, hopefully we come out and fight.
So come out and fight, and, hopefully we get in that national ranking, get some respect there. If we beat Florida Southwestern, the number 1 ranked team in the country, and even if we still come up short, we got a legitimate resume at that stage.
Yeah, I think so too.
So because we beat Indian Hills at the time, was ranked 3 in the country, and we've done some stuff.
And we've beaten Tallahassee twice. So I mean, there's a resume there.
Commodores will play March 4th, 3 p.m. Northwest Florida State College. It's a huge game for the Commodores, so come out and support the Commodores. For Coach Jackson, I'm James Baxley. Thanks for watching, Commodore fans, and we'll see you next time on the Commodore Sports Network.
with your host, James Baxley.